This is Olbermann versus Trump, and I'm not Trump. Seditious abuse. Thank you, Attorney General Shapiro of Pennsylvania. That's exactly what this is. It is not a Trump effort or filings by attorneys general or a long-shot legal dispute. It is seditious abuse. Seditious abuse dressed up as a lawsuit by the corrupt Attorney General of Texas, who is under investigation by the FBI and facing decades in prison, and who is fishing for a Trump pardon. It seeks to have all the voting in Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin erased, and to have Donald Trump installed as an unelected dictator. And it doesn't matter if it's nonsense or humiliating or it reads like something written by that lawyer on The Simpsons. And it doesn't matter if the new move by 6 other corrupt attorneys general to join the action, written by the office of Attorney General Schmidt of Missouri, includes Louisiana but misspells Louisiana. The very act of filing this suit, as Attorney General Shapiro has now written in his response, is seditious abuse. Because it sets a precedent that whenever Republicans don't like the outcome of an election anywhere, they can sue to overturn it and to dismantle our democracy. And soon or late, one of these lawsuits will work. We are in this position in large part, I think, because the national media in this country, still breaking itself in half to adhere to a set of rules of supposed balance that no right-winger even still thinks of, will not call the things Trump has done what they are. As the media rushes back to business as usual of trying to inflate trivial verbal stumbles or disagreements over who should be the new Secretary of Lumber into the equivalent of the Cuban Missile Crisis. We have not called Trump's insanity, insanity. We have not called Trump's racism, racism. We have not called Trump's crimes, crimes. And we have not called Trump's latest gathering at the White House what it is. It was not the conference of Trump and some state attorneys general. It was not a lunch. It was the assembling of a cabal, a revolution, a conspiracy, a coup. It was a meeting of Trump and his conspirators who are bent on illegally, unconstitutionally, and traitorously overturning the outcome of a fair and uncontested presidential election. And the 106 men who have now signed an amicus brief to this seditious abuse, led by Jim Jordan, Steve Scalise, Mo Brooks, and Louie Gohmert, they are not Republican congressmen. They are traitors to democracy. And these lawsuits and the formulating new plan to overturn the Electoral College vote in the House, stop thinking this is mere politics. Stop thinking, perhaps worst of all, that this will all go away on January 20th. Understand, digest, confront the fact that the Republican Party is completing its transformation, one that began 20 years ago, perhaps 30 years ago. It is mutating from opposition to insurrection to seditious abuse. To quote Abraham Lincoln from 1862, the dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. We must think anew and act anew. We must disenthrall ourselves, and then we shall save our country. And that quote from the Civil War is chosen deliberately from the Civil War, because that is the mindset in which Trump and his conspirators are now operating. They are operating against America. This week alone, the Arizona Republican Party tweeted about people being willing to die to keep Trump in power. Far right-wing commentators are beginning to bring up secession. Senator Graham of South Carolina carelessly used that exact phrase about the Republicans in Georgia. He called it civil war. With Trump and the conspirators' sedition meeting at the White House, with Trump's threatening phone call to the Attorney General of Georgia on Tuesday night, with the rumblings from that Russian asset, Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, that he will seek to interfere with the Electoral College vote, with Trump's endless and endlessly more insane public pronouncements that, to cut to the chase, he should get to be president, no matter what the election results were. Whatever their original intent was or is, Senate Majority Leader McConnell and House Minority Leader McCarthy and the 17 states' attorneys general and Ron Johnson and Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue and Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz and Tom Cotton and Rudy Giuliani and all the others, including virtually the entirety of the National Republican Party, are now actively committing seditious abuse against the United States of America, and we need to face that threat realistically. They are not enacting some political strategy of don't offend our base. They have not simply found another political hobby horse to ride like anti-immigration or Hillary's emails. And they are certainly not taking the path of least resistance, and they're not merely echoing the post-election uncertainty of 2000. This is a coup. This is seditious abuse. If it works, God help us. If it doesn't work, God help us. Because what is left in the wake of failure is a huge, stupid mass of America fed these fantasies of a stolen election by corrupt Republican fascists who don't give a damn about democracy and who are telling them that what is in fact seditious abuse is instead patriotism of some kind. As Trump's attorney in the latest seditious abuse suit in Wisconsin, Bill Bach, actually told the judge there, overturning the election, defeating democracy, will lead to, quote, greater freedom, and that a ruling in Trump's favor in the case in Wisconsin would be viewed by history as the righteous, moral equivalent of the Supreme Court decision which overturned the laws against interracial marriage and the Supreme Court's 1954 ruling against school segregation in Brown v. Board of Education. This was said aloud. The end of democracy would be the moral equivalent of Brown v. Board of Education. If George Orwell had written that sentence for his novel 1984, he would have reread it and thrown it out for being too ridiculous even for the world of doublethink. Call these people what they are, traitors to democracy, and call what they are doing what it is, seditious abuse. Good night and good luck.